Welcome to Ticket Central, the best of off-Broadway. This week's featured show is A Very Common Procedure by Courtney Barron, directed by Michael Greif. We spoke with the artistic directors of MCC Theater about A Very Common Procedure.
Feel free to take it away.
What is a very common procedure?
What is a very common procedure?
Sneezing.
Seriously, our new play. What's a very common procedure? What intrigued you about the play, Bob?
The writing and the situation. I mean, as an actor, I'm always interested in situations that demand, that obligate the actor. And the relationships are unique, I think, in this particular play, as is the language.
In what way unique?
I don't want to give it away, but there's certain incidences that create a dramatic situation for the actress, the lead of the show. And in turn, what happens, which is interesting to me, is how she deals with that obligation, and how she deals with that obligation with a doctor and with her husband. And it unravels in a story that I have not seen a lot of, to be honest with you. It's a unique story. And then the language, the way it's stated, the dialogue, the way it's felt, to me, was unique in the use of language and the use of dramatic situation.
I know that you're a fairly recent father, and
yes, that's true.
Yes, and the play addresses. I mean, there's no secret. It's about a couple who lose their baby in childbirth. Did that affect you in any way in thinking about the play or reacting to it? Are you aware of a shift in your own life that?
Well, certainly aware of a shift. I was dead set against having the child in my own life. I was very much on the husband side of this play, and I think I must say I'm completely ignorant of it, and have become a devoted father. And so fast, I'm embarrassed that I was ever on the other side of this issue. I remark. I mean, I think it's so cliche. I'm actually embarrassed to say it's so cliche. These words that come out of my mouth about having a child. It's a miracle. It is joyous. It is certainly contributing to global warming, I guess, because it's another population. But it's it's one of the things that I think make me human, which I did not experience without having a child. That's just my particular experience. And this play, these are complex issues.
And also, I think what's also interesting about the play is that the female character sort of goes on a journey that normally one might judge or one might not agree with. But because of her situation and because of what just happened to her, we're feeling for her. So we're willing to go on her ride, which actually isn't so off from what many people probably think about, but are afraid to sort of admit. So I think that's what I like about the play, is that because of her circumstance, we're willing to follow whichever way she goes, and yet she's approaching something that's dark or taboo-y or not supposed to be.
Is it in her or is it in the situation?
We go through a ton of plays. I mean, what first grabs you about a play? Do you usually read it? Is it when you hear a reading of it?
It's always easier to hear a reading of it, but sometimes it happens when you read it. The thing that I look for, or the thing that happens to me, is when I start to get a visceral reaction. And it doesn't feel like now I'm still reading or I'm still listening if I'm at a reading. But yet I'm starting to feel something, and I feel like my whole body sort of, tightens up in a positive way because it gets energized and it makes me like want more and more and more. And, I remember a feeling when we did a reading of Courtney's play. It was like, oh, this is something that I potentially want to hear more about. And then we all, sort of was on the same page, which was,
I think
doesn't happen all the time.
I was going to say, that's what I think one of the things that fascinates me about the three of us is when all of us agree about a play. And we always invariably, there's some plays that have come down the pike in the last 20 years that we jump on because for some reason, whether it be emotional or intellectual, we really, really like it. And then the rest of the time, it's like a kind of a negotiation between the three of us about why you like this play, justifying why you want to do it, and whether or not it's a choice that we should take further than just a reading.
It's the 2.5 vote rule.
2.5 vote rule, right. I mean, for me, what I like, I respond to writing and ideas. That, even though I say I like feelings, I really want to have the magical moment on stage when, you're aha moment and, you cry or something. I always like that moment. But by the same token, I think that ideas and writing, what's interesting about the play, what's interesting about the theater for me is that writing in the theater can approach the idea of ideals, or ideas rather, and issues.
To me, my favorite thing in the theater, and what I want somebody to always take away from one of our shows, is wanting to talk about it afterwards. I want people to leave the theater going, like, what did you think of this? What did you think of this? How did that happen?
Welcome to MCC Theater, Theater for Thought. For more information about this or any of our other shows, visit www.ticketcentral.com or call Ticket Central at 212-279-4200 from noon to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Ticket Central is the best of off-Broadway.